Page 139. Page 139. It's review. Strong verb, quality adjective, and ly adverb. Those are easy for you guys. You already use them in writing and you already find them in your grammar. So it's stuff you already know. We're just going to review today and do a little practice with it. So a strong verb, a quality adjective, and an ly adverb are three different ways to dress up writing. These stylistic devices add a strong image and feeling. So that just means using these words helps the reader imagine what you're writing about. It really makes the writing come to life, is another way to say that. So a strong verb, I'm up here at the top, is an action verb. It's never a linking or helping verb. Remember, linking and helping verbs are is, was, be, being, been, had, have, those types of words. Those aren't considered strong verbs or strong, yeah. So an action would be a strong verb. A quality adjective is more specific than a weak adjective. A weak adjective is overused, boring, or vague. Um, like if you use the word big, that word is weak. If you're describing something like a big building, that would be a weak adjective, but you would describe it as huge or enormous or gigantic or impressive, something like that, that tells a little bit more about the building you're looking at. Then the ly adverb is used to enhance the meaning of a verb. It's telling how the verb is happening, or an adjective or another adverb that it modifies. So those ly adverbs give more information about what's happening in the sentence. We're going to do a little practice together. Underline the weak word. Could be a verb or an adjective. It could be any of those. One of them is weak in the sentence, and then circle a stronger word in the list below. Think about the meaning of the words in the context of the sentence. And you're going to have more than one right answer here. There's going to be one that's obviously not the right answer, but there's more than one right answer to this. So I'll do the first one. You guys can take turns with the others. It says the outlaws ran to Robin's aid. The weak word is ran, so you can just underline it so we can keep track of it. Your choices are fled, traveled, hopped, hurried, rushed. Obviously, hopped is not going to be the way you want to help your friend, right? You don't want to hop over to your friend. That would take too long, especially if they need your help. So that's not a good one. And then fled means to go away from. So when you flee, you go away from something. So that's not going to work. Traveled is more like when you go on vacation. I mean, Robin needs help, basically. So it would either be hurried or rushed. I'm going to choose rushed. The outlaws rushed to Robin's aid. That would work. All right, so the next one, JC, go ahead and read the sentence first and then tell us what the weak word is and then a word that would be better.
The hungry man ate a hearty stew, I mean.
Yeah, good. What's the weak word?
Ate.
Ate, good. What could we use instead?
Feasted on.
Feasted on. I like that one. You wouldn't want to choose nibbled because these are men and they're hungry and they're not going to be nibbling, right? Nibbling is like little tiny bites. Hungry men, they want big food. They want to feast. Okay. Let's see. Lucy, read the next one.
The hungry man, wait, the stranger was big.
Okay, what's the weak word?
Big,
Big. And which one would be better?
gigantic,
That'll
or
work. Or which one?
I was gonna say or towering.
Or towering. Either one of those would work. Yep, I agree. Broad would actually work too. Broad means like their shoulders are really big, like a football player, their shoulders are like they stick out pretty far because they're just big. Roomy is how you would describe like a space, not really a person, like maybe you're a room in the house, the bathroom is roomy, the kitchen is roomy, meaning there's space there, but you wouldn't really use that for a person. Okay, the next one, Grayson, read this sentence.
Robin was a good man.
Okay, and what is the weak word there?
Good.
Okay, good. Yes. What could we use instead?
Hardworking.
Yeah, that would work. What other word could you use?
Noble.
Noble would work. Either one of those. I'm going to choose noble. I forgot to, oh yeah, I chose that one up there. Delicious does not work though, right? We're talking about
Delicious.
a person. So that's not a word you would use for a person. And then the last one, JC, do this last one here.
He was awfully wet.
Yes, so awfully is that weak word. What could you say instead?
Noticeably.
I think so, because awfully could mean like really wet, or you could use thoroughly. Very would be okay, but these are better. Noticeably, I like that one. And then there's a little note here on the bottom of the page. If you want to keep track of a list of words that you like, as far as adjectives or verbs or any of your dress ups that you like to use, there's a place at the back of the book for you to make a list to keep track of that. All right, let's go to the practice page next. Page 141. And then Lucy, when you're ready, go ahead and read this sentence today.
Although the giant moved quickly, Robin's men dragged him to the water. He struggled fiercely.
Okay, good. Nice reading. And struggled, we all know what that means, just having a hard time with something. In this context, they're fighting. So it's when you're fighting with an opponent or an adversary. That struggled. Okay. There are 2 articles. Go ahead and find those by yourself and mark those. And then Grayson, when you're ready, what are the 3 nouns?
The 3 nouns are Robin, men,
Men, not robins, because that's going to be an adjective actually. So men,
giant,
good,
and water.
good. Giant, men, and water. And then the pronouns, JC?
You
He.
can turn it.
He,
Him.
and him, good. And then Lucy, what about the adjective?
Robin's
You're right, but we're missing something there. Do you know what we need to do, Lucy?
capitalize.
Robins? Sorry, say it again.
Capitalize.
Yes. But with the S, we need actually an apostrophe. Because that tells us that the men belong to Robin or they're with Robin. But you're right, Robins with an apostrophe is the adjective. Very good. And then the adverbs, Grayson?
The adverb. For furiously
Good.
and although.
No, not although.
Oh, quickly.
There you go, quickly. Got that. Adverb clause, JC?
Although.
Although starts there, where does it end?
After water.
Actually, not that far. Before that.
Men.
It's going to go all the way to quickly because this part right here, Robin's men dragged him to the water. that's actually going to be a main clause. So this is an opener. Although the giant moved quickly, and then it moves on to the opener. So I kind of gave away one main clause, but Lucy, where are the two main clauses?
Robin's men dragged him to the water,
Good, that's one.
and he struggled fiercely.
Yep. Good. Subject verb. So Grayson, do you like to do subject verbs together or separate?
I can do them together.
Okay, go ahead and do them together.
Moved,
Okay,
dragged,
okay,
and struggled.
good.
And giant is the subject.
Okay,
Men and he.
and he good. So we got giant moved, men dragged, he struggled. Good job. That's correct. Prepositional phrase, JC.
To the water.
Good. I forgot to put AC here for adverb clause, so make sure you add that in there, AC. And you're right, to the water is the prepositional phrase. Very good. And there's two different openers here, Lucy. What are the two? Well, before you tell me that, there's a period that we're missing. Do you know where the period goes, Lucy? I mean, there's one at the end. We know that, but there's also another one in here. Go ahead and mute Grayson. Grayson. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Do you know where the other period goes, Lucy?
After quickly,
No, not there. It's going to go between the two main clauses.
water,
Yeah. So we're going to take out that comma and put a period there because remember when we talked about comma, or yeah, it's a comma splice. Whenever you have two main clauses next to each other, they have to have a period between. So that's where that period goes. Now that we have the two sentences, Lucy, what are the two different openers we have here?
uh, but, mm, is the first one a prepositional opener?
Not prepositional. This is an adverb clause, so this is like an Asia word. Do you remember the name of that opener?
No.
It's called a clausal. So this is a number 5, and it's called a clausal because it's an adverb clause opener. And then how about this one over here? It starts with he. What kind of an opener is that one? He is the subject, so that's your clue there.
Is it a subject opener?
It is, yeah, which is a number 1. So we'll just put 1 and subject. There you go. Good job. Capitals, you guys can do that by yourself. Commas, we took out 1. Grayson, what else do we need to do?
Put one in
Yeah.
after quickly.
Yes, good, because the rule is if the adverb clause, the AC, comma, MC, remember that? So if the adverb clause comes first, you do need a comma and then the main clause. Good. We already got the end marks and we already got the apostrophe. So I think we got it. Okay. Good job with that. Go ahead and get out Amelia Earhart. You guys did the first paragraph this week. And next, we're going to do the next 2 paragraphs. So you're going to need an extra piece of white paper. Hopefully you have another one back there. So get out everything for Amelia Earhart, get out an extra white piece of paper and a piece of lined paper, a clean one. Because we're going to talk about something real quick before we get into Amelia Earhart. And we're going to get out your lined paper first. So I need to talk to you about state testing. I know that that's not a very fun topic to talk about, but it's coming up. And I'm not going to do the test. I'm not going to administer the test. You're going to either be at home for that, or maybe you go somewhere to take the test. But usually this, and it's called CASP. That's the name of the test. And usually it's in March and April, somewhere in there. Everybody kind of does it at different times. But does anybody know when they're going to take the state test? Do you guys have a date already for it? If you don't know, that's okay. So it's coming up though. And this is the test that in California, all 3rd through 12th graders have to take this test. So you guys are somewhere in between those grades, 3rd through 12th. Everybody needs to take it. It's part of a requirement for all students in the state of California. Every state has their own state test. So there's 2 parts to it, language arts and math, and sometimes science. So sometimes there's a 3rd subject, but mostly language arts and math. Language arts is reading and comprehension, which means they will give you questions. They'll give you something to read, and then you'll answer questions about what you just read. And the questions are multiple choice. You might have 4 or 5 different answers to choose from. Sometimes they throw in a really silly answer that's like way off. If you see that, just delete that from your choices and narrow it down. And then you can always look back on the story. They let you look back on the story to find the answer. If you just can't figure it out, it's okay to pick one and move on. This test does not define who you are as a person or a student, okay? This test does not tell anybody whether or not you're going on to the next grade or whether or not you're going to be able to go to college someday. That's not what this test does. So if you're scared or worried or you just feel like you really don't want to do it, try not to worry about it, okay? It does not tell us whether or not you can move on, because everybody in this class, including Bryce that's listening, is going to move on to the next grade level. You guys are doing great in your schooling. So it's just a requirement of the state. Some of the questions are going to be super easy peasy cheesy. You're going to read the question and you'll be like, that's so easy. I know the answer. You click the answer and move on. Some of the questions are going to be so hard you don't know what to do with it. That's okay too. Don't panic. Try your best to figure it out. If you can't figure it out, you just pick one and move on. Okay. So don't let it just stop you. If you take too long on one question, it'll take you forever to finish the test. So don't rush. I don't want you rushing, but don't get stuck on one question for like an hour, because that's too much time on one question. So spend some time on it, think about it, look for the answers, and move on. Eventually, you might just have to pick one and then move on. I want to talk to you about the writing part of the test because, like I said, language arts is comprehension and it's writing. So you will have a writing test. It's all on the computer. So even though we're calling it a writing test, it's going to be you typing answers. Okay. And that's where I'm going to help you get prepared for that part of the test. Hopefully your math teacher, if it's your parent or if you're in a math class, hopefully they can help you get ready for the math part and science and all that. And then one more thing before we write down some notes. I did email all of your parents about a practice test that you can do. So I recommend you sit down with your parent or your grandparent or whoever does your schooling and do the test together. Talk about what the questions are, because You guys have heard of Common Core, right? You guys heard of Common Core before? Yeah. Common Core is the type of curriculum that the state wants you to use, but you guys are homeschooled, so your parents get to choose what you learn. You don't have to do Common Core, but the test is Common Core, so there might be some language on the test that you've never heard before. That's okay. Just try to figure it out if you can. Do your best. If you get stuck, pick an answer and move on. I'm serious. And I'm sure your parents are going to say the same thing because they don't want you to get stuck on one question for so long. But for the writing, you're going to get what's called scratch paper. Have you guys heard of scratch paper before? Yeah. You usually use it for math, but you also get scratch paper for writing. They're just going to give you a blank piece of lined paper. And when you sit down to do the writing part of the test, this is the first thing I want you to write down on your scratch paper, because you know you can't have any books with you. You can't have your checklist with you. You can't look answers up online. They only want you to have a blank piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, and that's all you get. And then the computer to answer your questions, okay? So when you get to the writing part of the test, you don't have to write your name because these are just your notes. I do want you to put dress ups right here, and go ahead and write this on your page too that you have right there with you. Dress ups. You guys know all the parts of writing because we do it every single week. And it's in your brain already. It's good that you don't even need any books. You don't need to do any research. It's all inside your head already. So I want you to think about all the dress ups. Try not to look at your checklist. Try to think of it without looking. Make a list of all the types of dress ups that you're supposed to use in your writing. And I'll give you the first one. It's ly adverbs. Oops, RB. So ly adverb is the first dress up. Now try to think of the others, and I'm going to give you a minute to write down your list, as many as you can remember, and then we'll talk about them. These are the things that you add and you underline for me in my class. If you only think of a couple, that's okay. Don't worry. We're going to practice them together so that you know what to put down for your notes. Okay, Lucy, were you able to think of any other dress ups that you use? What else do we use in our writing?
Strong verb, who, which clause, because clause, and prepositional.
Wow, very good. Strong verb, who, which, and you can write this down in any order. It doesn't have to be in this exact order, okay? I think you said because clause. And you did mention preposition. Is that what you mentioned? That's actually an opener. So just skip down here a little bit and let's put a list of openers too. And you're right, prepositional. That's one of the openers. There are a couple more dress ups. Does anybody have any extras that you wrote down other than these? Adverb, strong verb, who, which, because clause, what else? JC?
www.asia.
Good, yes. www.asia. Anything else? There's one more I think we're missing. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's quality adjective. And when you sit down to take your test, don't worry if you can only think of 3. That's okay. 2 or 3. Don't stress over this part. You're just making a list. This is like you're making your own checklist for yourself for the writing part of the test. We do have a prepositional opener. There are other openers that we talk about in grammar. Do you remember any of the other openers that we talk about in grammar? JC, what are some other ones?
Clausal.
Clausal, good.
Subject.
Good. Subject. That's
And
good.
then
I think we have an ly adverb opener. So just put down what you can remember when you sit down to do your writing test. This, like I said, you're making your own checklist for yourself. And I'm telling you guys, if you can remember to include all of this, you're going to do fantastic on this test. Okay, don't let it scare you. You guys are ready for this. Some of the questions will just say, write a short response or a short answer, and that can be 2 to 3 sentences. It can be super short. Like you're just going to answer something simple. Some of the questions might be more involved, like you're going to write a response, maybe a 1 paragraph response. Some of them might even say that you need to write an essay. I'm just telling you now. They might want you to write an essay, but don't worry about that either. You already know how to do 3 paragraphs. It's easy peasy cheesy, right? So skip a line down here. And what you would do is just start building your keyword outline. We do this every single week. You can put that word clencher down here and topic. You guys have all this stuff memorized. It could be, and I keep saying that because I don't know what you're going to get. They don't tell us ahead of time exactly what your test is going to be because then students might cheat. So you don't know what you're going to write about, but let's pretend for a second. Maybe it's an article about Abraham Lincoln. And it says, read the article and write a 1 paragraph response about how Abraham Lincoln contributed to the United States of America. Something like that. So then you read the article and you look for those possible topics. Now, they already told you they want, if it's like that, they might want you to talk about how he contributed. You would put Abraham Lincoln next to Roman numeral 1, comma, contributed, comma, USA. And then you read the article and you pick out those keywords, 3 for each line. You can draw pictures, you can do symbols, you can use numbers, abbreviations. Pick out those things that you find that are like, yeah, that's what he did to contribute to America. He was the president of the United States. He helped create laws and treaties that help keep the people safe. And he was part of the foundation for this or that. I mean, I'm just making this up as I'm going here, but you guys take notes and then you use this to write your paragraph. Easy. You got all your keywords here. You got all your notes. Then you go back and include some of your dress ups. Try to include them all that you remember. If you don't remember them all, that's okay. Do the ones you know. You don't have to underline them. And you don't have to number the openers. That's just for me, for my homework. On the test, you just make sure to include them. And you can put little check marks here as you use them. And you will ace this test. I'm not kidding. You're going to, if you use this keyword outline, you're going to be golden. No problems at all. Use your keyword outline. If they want you to write an essay, a 3 paragraph essay, just keep going with your keyword outline. You got your Roman numeral 2. You got your, and you can put it over here just for the sake of writing this down, but got your Roman numeral 3. Boom. Topic clencher. Just look for those key words. This isn't as scary as you think it is. It's super doable because you know how to do this. We've been doing this for a long time. So just to recap, when you sit down to do the writing test, they will give you some blank scratch paper like this. And before you start, just write down some notes here like this. Write down all the dress ups you know, write down all the openers you know, write down a keyword outline, and then you get started reading what they want you to read and look at the question. I always like to look at the question first. Like, what are they wanting me to write about? And then go back and read the article. It's easier to find the stuff that you need to use in your outline. make your outline, type out your paragraph. So this is all digital, this is all on the computer. So you're going to be typing. If you don't know how to type, it's okay. Use your fingers, use your index fingers. It'll take you a while, but that's okay. This test is long. I'm just telling you, I'm being real with you. It's going to be at least a couple hours. So that's okay. In the middle of the test, if you need to get up and walk around, if you're feeling tense, just ask the person that's doing the test, like watching you do the test, just ask if it's okay to take a break. You can get up, walk around the house, walk around outside for a minute, get a drink of water, eat a banana, do what you need to do, come back, sit down, and get going on it again. It's okay to take breaks, okay? And if you don't finish in the time that they give you, that's okay too. It's not a time test. You can take your time on this, okay? Don't be rushed by it. If the test time ends, they're going to save it and you'll come back to it later. When you come back another day or another week or however they split it up for you. But you don't have to finish within a certain amount of time, because that always stressed me out when I did tests at your age. I felt pressured, but this is not timed, so there's no pressure to hurry. Does anybody have any questions about the test or about anything we're talking about here at all? Okay, good. I just want to give you a little pep talk in case you do the test before we see each other again. I don't know when it is, but it's coming up. Don't be afraid of it. Just give it your best and then move on with life. It's not worth getting stuck and all stressed over it, okay? Don't stress. And then next week, we will actually do a practice together. That way you can get a feel for what it's going to look like and what kind of questions they're going to ask. So, all right. That's what you'll write down when you sit down and do your writing test. You have something to go off of. This will help you. You won't have to do like 3 paragraphs every time. Like I said, some questions might be just a couple sentences. Some of them might be longer. Okie doke. Let's look at Amelia Earhart next. So get that out. You guys wrote your first paragraph about her. We're going to continue working on her paper. And you're going to use the back side of your big white page that you got out from last week. Let's look at the possible topics really quick here. We already did early life. You can draw a line through that. That was everybody's first paragraph. From here, you can choose what you want to write about next. So we have 2 paragraphs to go this week. So you can choose, you got 3 choices here. Obviously, you wouldn't want to write about legacy second, because that's kind of the end of her life, right? That's what happened after she died. So save that one if you want to use that one for paragraph 3. But you have a choice here if you want to write about her accomplishments in her first flight or her last flight and disappearance. You can choose which one to pick for your second paragraph. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you know which one you want to pick. You're either going to write about her accomplishments in her first flight, or you're going to write about her last flight and her disappearance. Okay, I see a thumbs up. Do you know what you want to do, Lucy? Okay, JC. Okay, good. So turn your page over. We're going to set it up. A, B, C, D. By the way, just as you're doing this, you guys know how to do this. If they want you to look at multiple articles on the test, which they might, just use your lined paper and fold it like we folded in class. It'll be a lot smaller, but that's okay. You can still use it. And set up your outlines. That will help you so much on the test. Okay, use your keyword outlines. Okay, Roman numeral 2, 1 through 5. Go ahead and set this up. You have a D here. Go ahead and set this one up. Roman numeral 2, 1 through 5. Used outline. This one's 1 through 7, but 7 is optional. And that word clincher. I know I'm doing it quick. I'll give you guys time to set that up. Okay. I see that. From here, you're going to write AE for Amelia Earhart. So you don't have to write her name every single time on this, comma, and then whatever topic you chose. Accomplishments, first flight, or last flight disappearance. Either one of those you're going to put here. So fill that in for all of your Roman numeral 2s. AE for Amelia Earhart, blank, blank. That's going to be whatever topic you picked. AE, blank, blank, whatever topic you picked. So what did you pick, Lucy, for your second topic here?
Accomplishments in first flight.
Okay, so go ahead and write those 2 words in next to all the Roman numeral 2s. On the fused, we're going to go ahead and write out her name just so we can remember we need to spell it out when we get to this part, Earhart, and then whatever your topic is for that. Okay. Once you get that all set up, I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to work on your own right now and look at the articles that match A, B, C, and D. Look for the paragraph that goes with the topic you chose. So if it's accomplishments and first flight, look at that paragraph. You're going to read it. Look for keywords to put in your outline. If you chose last flight and disappearance, look at that paragraph, choose some keywords for each article. You're going to set this up so you're ready to write your paragraph. I'm hoping you can make it to the point of doing the fused outline here. So go ahead and start working on that. If you need help, I'm right here. Just going to wait for you guys. Grayson, what was your topic that you picked?
I picked Amelia Earhart's early life and first flight and accomplishments in first flight.
Okay, perfect. So make sure you look at those paragraphs only. Okay, and JC, which one did you pick? Same one? Okay, accomplishments and first flight. Okay, so go ahead and put that there. You guys can get started. I should see you writing. I can see you looking at papers and doing stuff. That's good. Remember, when you guys are looking for keywords, try to pick different facts for A, B, C, and D and use those keywords. Okay, let me see how far you guys are getting. Are you still working on A or B? Where are you guys at? How about you, JC? Which one are you working on?
C.
Okay, good. Lucy, where are you at?
B.
Okay. And then Grayson?
C.
Okay, good. I'll give you another minute to keep going, and then I'm going to have you set up Roman numeral 3. Okay, finish the one you're on, and you can finish the rest of it after class, but I want to make sure you set up Roman numeral 3 before we end class. So go ahead and finish writing out whatever word you're on right now, and then get out your extra piece of white paper. Set up for number 3 here. Do you have any more of these left, Lucy? The big white pages?
Yeah, but this is my last one.
Oh, okay, that's okay. I think this is the last time we need it, so you should be good. So try to get your new one, fold it. Remember, I always call this the taco fold, so fold it that way first. And like I said earlier, if you have to do like multiple articles in your state test, you can use a plain piece of lined paper. That's okay. It's just going to be small, but hold it like that first. And JC, if you're out of paper, you can use like printer paper. And then you guys remember fold it in thirds. So past the middle a little bit, you're going to end up making a square. And then the other side goes on top of that. So fold it taco, and then, okay, I see you have a small one. That's okay, JC. You're pretty good about writing small. And then go a little past halfway, and the other side goes on top of that. So you end up with a square. Oh, you have a small one too, Grayson? It's okay. Let's write small. Open it back up. You should have 6 squares to work with as usual here. And then you're going to just start with Roman numeral 3. Go ahead and write your A, B, C, D up here. If you're using regular printer paper, just make it small. A, B, C, D, and you're going to do Roman numeral 3. This is going to be AE, and then whatever your third topic is. So you have a choice between her last flight and disappearance, which I think would probably be more fun to write about than her legacy, because how she disappeared was crazy. It's interesting. So you might put AC, last flight, and then maybe like DIS for disappearance, so that you're not using too many words here. Set up Roman numeral 3, 1 through 5. AE or a legacy. Put that there too. Oops, I messed up. This should be Roman numeral 3 right here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 3. Just outline. Roman numeral 3, 1 through 7, or 6, 7, and clincher. Okay, once you get that all set up, just make sure you put your topic down. And then I'm going to leave it up to you if you want to use the last little bit of time to work on Roman numeral 2 and finish up what you started a minute ago, or to start working on Roman numeral 3. It's up to you. But your homework will be to finish both of Roman numeral 2 and Roman numeral 3. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple more minutes to keep working. I do have one more thing to share with you before you go, so I'll give you about 3 minutes right now to work a little bit more on your outlines. Let me know if you guys have any questions, okay? Okay. I'm going to talk to you just a little bit here at the end. You can finish up the word you're writing. When you, just a reminder about the fused outline, make sure you group together facts that fit together, that flow together. Okay, so you don't want to be too random. And he married or she married this guy. She got her pilot's license, and then she did her, first flight. And then, so it's, you don't want it too mixed up. So think about the logical order of how her accomplishments in her first flight went. Same with her last flight and then her disappearance. You want to start with what her flight was and then work up to how she disappeared. And then at the end of your fused outline, something like no one knows where she is, or, something about that. So make sure it flows from one detail or fact to the other, kind of group them together like that so it's not random. The other thing that I'm going to attach to your Google Classroom is this list. I think I've done this before, so you might remember this list from before. I'm going to attach it again. This is a great list here. Sometimes when you have a list of facts, transitioning between the facts gets choppy, right? Using some of these transition words will help you. In fact, some of them are prepositional openers. So you can use those as a prepositional opener, like as, well, actually, that's more of a clausal opener, as well as, or words like therefore, or after, before. So use some of these words to help you transition between details about Amelia Earhart. I'm going to attach it to your Google Classroom so you can refer to that when you guys are working on your homework this week. So you're going to finish up all those outlines and you're going to write paragraph 2 and paragraph 3 using your checklist and using this list if you need it to help you transition between facts. And then the last thing, just if you don't get 10 out of 10 on your homework, that means you need to fix something. Read my notes and make sure you fix it. Okay. And then turn it back in and you can get a 10 out of 10. It's going to help you be a better writer. You guys are all doing great. So that's it for today. You guys have a great week and we will talk again next week. I'll see you next week. Bye, JC. Bye, Grayson.